Here's a truth that most people do not want to face. If you keep doing what you have been doing, you are going to keep getting what you have been getting. That is not philosophy. That is just math. You cannot expect a different result from the same behavior. You cannot keep planting corn and expecting to grow tomatoes. It does not work like that. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And some of you have been living in that insanity for years. Some of you have been living the same year over and over again for the last 10 years and calling it a life. You're not progressing, you're just existing.
And there is a big difference between living and existing. Living means you are growing, evolving, becoming something greater.
Existing means you are just taking up space, going through the motions, waiting for something to happen. Which one are you doing right now? Be honest with yourself. The first step to soul building yourself is admitting honestly and truly admitting that something has to change. And let me make this really clear that something is you, not your spouse, not your boss, not the Kianami, not the government, not your mama, not your daddy, you. When you accept that responsibility, when you own it completely, that is when the rebuilding begins. See, most people want to blame everybody else for their situation. It is easier that way. It is comfortable to point fingers and say that somebody else is the reason you are not where you want to be. But that is a trap, because as long as you are blaming other people, you are giving away your power. You are saying that your life is in their hands, not yours. And that is a lie. The moment you take full responsibility for your life, everything changes. Suddenly you are in the driver's seat. Suddenly you have control. Suddenly you can actually do something about your situation instead of waiting for somebody else to fix it. That is the power of ownership. That is the power of accountability. I know it is hard to look in the mirror and admit that you are the problem. Nobody wants to do that. It hurts. It is uncomfortable, but it is also the most liberating thing you will ever do, because if you are the problem, guess what? You are also the solution. And that means you have the power to change everything. So today, right now, I need you to make a decision. I need you to decide that you are done blaming other people. You are done making excuses. You are done waiting for circumstances to change. Today, you take ownership. Today, you accept responsibility. Today, the change begins with you. Today, the change begins with you. You cannot become the person you were supposed to be while holding on to the person you used to be. You've got to let that old you go. I know you have been carrying that version of yourself around for a long time. I know it feels familiar. I know it feels safe. But that old you, the one with the bad habits, the one making excuses, the one settling for less, the one afraid to take risks, the one afraid to take risks. You have got to tell that version of yourself that you appreciate everything it did to get you this far, but you do not need it anymore. Thank it for its service and then let it go. You cannot take it where you are going. See, a caterpillar does not become a butterfly by adding wings to the caterpillar. The caterpillar has to completely dissolve. It has to break down entirely and rebuild itself from scratch. That is what transformation looks like. It is not a small adjustment. It is not a minor tweak. It's a complete overhaul. It is death and rebirth. It is letting go of everything you were so you can become everything you are meant to be. And I know it is scary. Believe me, I know, because that old, you're comfortable. That old you is familiar. You know how that person thinks, how that person reacts, how that person operates. But comfortable is not going to make you great. Comfortable is where dreams go to die. Comfortable is the enemy of progress. If you want something you've never had, you have got to become someone you have never been. You have to shed that old skin. You have got to walk away from that old mindset. You have got to stop answering to that old name. You know the name I am talking about. The one people call you when they want to keep you small, the one that reminds you of your failures, the one that makes you feel like you cannot change. Stop answering to it. This is a new season. This is a new chapter. This is a new you. And the new you does not carry the baggage of the old you. The new you does not make the same mistakes. The new you does not settle. The new you does not shrink. The new you does not shrink. The new you stands tall, walks boldly, and refuses to go backward. So I am asking you today to have a funeral for your old self. Bury that person with love and respect, but bury them nonetheless. Mourn if you need to, cry if you need to, but then wipe your tears, stand up straight, and start becoming the person you were always meant to be. New name, new season. New you stop making excuses. You have got an excuse for everything, do you? Not. I would start that business, but I would go back to school, but I would leave that job, but I would pursue my dream. But every sentence ends with a but. And that but is keeping you broke, stuck, and frustrated. Let me tell you what an excuse really is. An excuse is a lie wrapped in a reason. That is all it is. It sounds good. It sounds logical. It might even sound reasonable to other people. But at the end of the day, it is just a dressed up lie you tell yourself so you can feel okay about not moving forward. It is a permission slip to stay stuck. You know what successful people do? They find a way. You know what unsuccessful people do? They find an excuse, same 24 hours in a day, same obstacles, same challenges, same economy, same circumstances. But one group finds solutions and the other group finds excuses. Which group are you in? You have to answer that question honestly, and do not you dare tell me you do not have time. You have the same amount of time that everybody else has. You have the same 24 hours that the most successful people on the planet have. You just spend yours differently. You have got time to scroll on your phone for 3 hours. You've got time to watch that show. You've got time to gossip. You've got time to complain, but you do not have time to invest in yourself. That is not a time problem. That is a priority problem. That is a priority problem. See, when something is truly important to you, you make time for it. When you really want something, you find a way. But when you do not really want it, you find an excuse. So the next time you hear yourself making an excuse, stop and ask yourself if this is really the reason or if this is just what I am telling myself so I do not have to try. Excuses are dream killers. They sound innocent, but they are deadly. Every excuse you make is a brick in the wall between you and your potential. Every excuse you make is another day wasted. Every excuse you make is another opportunity missed. And those days and opportunities add up. Before you know it, years have passed, and you are still in the same place with the same excuses. Some of you were carrying around stuff that happened 10, 15, or 20 years ago like it is a backpack you can never take off. You are dragging around failures, mistakes, betrayals, and disappointments like they are part of your permanent record. You are letting things that happened in the past dictate what you believe is possible in the future.
Let me tell you something. Your past is in the past for a reason. That is why they do not put a rear view mirror on the front of a car. You cannot drive forward looking backward.
You will crash every single time. Yes, you should glance at the rear view mirror occasionally. Yes, you should learn from what happened, but you should not stare at it. You should not fixate on it. You should not let it control your steering wheel. Whatever happened to you, whoever hurt you, whatever mistakes you made, that was a chapter, not the whole book. You are still being written. The story is not over. The pen is still in your hand, and you get to decide what the next chapter looks like. You do not have to be defined by your worst moments. You can be defined by your worst moments. You can be entered by your comeback. I do not care what you did. I do not care what was done to you. I do not care how badly you messed up. You are still here. You are still breathing. And as long as there is breath in your body, there is an opportunity to rebuild. Your history is not your destiny. Where you've been does not determine where you can go. Some of the greatest comebacks in history came from people who had the worst setbacks. They fell hard. They made terrible mistakes. They lost everything, but they got back up. And when they got up, they did not just survive, they thrived. They became better, stronger, wiser. They used their pain as fuel. They used their failures as lessons. They turned their mess into a message that can be you, that it will be you if you let it but you have got to stop replaying your past over and over in your mind. You have got to stop punishing yourself for things that already happened. You have got to stop letting your history hold you hostage. Forgive yourself, release yourself, free yourself. The best thing about the past is that it is over, it is done, it is finished, and today, right now, you get to start fresh. You get to write a new story, you get to create a new future. So stop looking back, start looking forward. Your windshield is bigger than your rear view mirror for a reason. That is where you should be focused. Show me your 5 closest friends. Then I will show you your future. That is not a joke, that is a prophecy, that is a fact. You become like the people you spend the most time with. Their habits rub off on you. Their mindset rub off on you. Their standards rub off on you. Their standards rub off on you. Whether you realize it or not, your circle is shaping you every single day. If everybody around you is broke, guess what? You are probably going to stay broke. If everybody around you is negative, guess what? You are going to stay negative. If everybody around you has no ambition, no goals, no dreams, guess what? You are going to drift right along with them into nowhere. You are going to settle because settling is normal in your circle. You got to get around people who are going somewhere. Get around people who challenge you, who push you, who make you uncomfortable because they are operating at a higher level. Get around people who make you want to be better. Get around people who are doing what you want to do, who have what you want to have, who are who you want to become. And listen, I know some of those people you need to let go of. They are close to you. They might be family. They might be childhood friends. They might be childhood friends. They might be people you have known your entire life. And I am not saying you have to hate them. I'm not saying you have to disrespect them, but you have got to love yourself enough to limit your exposure to people who are limiting your growth. You can love somebody from a distance. You can care about somebody without letting them hold you back. You can wish somebody well without letting them pull you down. This is not about being cold or heartless. This is about being wise. This is about recognizing that not everybody deserves access to you, especially during your rebuilding phase. You cannot fly with eagles if you are hanging out with chickens. Chickens peck at the ground. Eagles soar. Make your choice. Audit your circle. Evaluate who you are giving your time and energy to and make the necessary adjustments. Your future depends on it. Here's a question that might shake some of you up. Where are you going? Not where have you been, not where are you now. Where are you going? If you do not have a clear answer to that question, you are just wandering. And people who wander ended up wherever life takes them. That is not living, that is drifting. You need to see it in your mind before you can hold it in your hands. You need to know exactly what you are building toward, Cain. You need a picture so clear, so vivid, so detailed that it feels real before it is real. Without a vision, you are just going through the motions. Without a vision, every day looks the same. Without a vision, you have no direction. Close your eyes for a second. I want you to picture the best version of your life. What does Where do you live? What do you do? Who is around you? How do you feel when you wake up in the morning? What kind of car do you drive? What kind of impact are you making? What kind of person have you become? Can you see it? Good? Now hold on to that picture because that is your target. That is your goal. That is your vision. That is your vision. That is at every single decision you make from this point forward should be measured against that vision. Does this get me closer or further away? Write it down. Put it somewhere you can see it every single day. On your bathroom mirror, on your refrigerator, as the background, on your phone, wherever you need to put it so that you see it constantly. Because when you know where you are going, every decision becomes easier. You will know what to say yes to and what to say no to. You will know who belongs in your life and who does not. A vision will keep you focused when distractions come. And let me tell you something, distractions are coming. Life is going to throw things at you that try to pull you off course. People are going to try to get you off track. Opportunities that seem good but are not aligned with your vision will present themselves. But when you have a clear vision, you can stay focused because you know what you are building. Without vision, people perish. Without vision, people settle. Without vision, people die talking empty through life, wondering why they never accomplish anything significant. Do not let that be you. Get clear on your vision. Get specific, get detailed, and then pursue it with everything you have. You cannot rebuild yourself on your own strength alone. You are going to need help. You are going to need something bigger than yourself to lean on.
You are going to need faith. And I am not just talking about religious faith, though that is important too. I am talking about faith in the unseen, faith in what is possible.
Faith that even when you cannot see how it is going to work out, you believe it will. Faith that even when the evidence suggests otherwise, you keep moving forward. Faith that defies logic and transcends circumstances. See, faith is stepping out onto the water when logic says you should stay in the boat. Faith is believing in a harvest when you are still planting the seeds. Faith is trusting the process even when the process is painful. Faith is knowing that what you cannot see is more real than what you can see. Without faith, you will quit at the first sign of trouble. Without faith, you will give up when things get hard. Without faith, you will look at your circumstances and say it is impossible. Without faith, you will let fear and doubt talk you out of your dreams. Without faith, you will play it safe and never take the risks necessary for greatness. But with with faith, you can look at those same circumstances and say, watch me. With faith, you can face the impossible and believe it is possible. With faith, you can walk through the fire and know you will not be burned. With faith, you can stand in the storm and know it will not last forever. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. You have got to believe in what you are building before anybody else does. You've got to see your success before it manifests. You have got to walk in your future before it arrives. You have got to live as though it is already done. That is faith. And you are going to need it every single day. When doubters doubt, when haters hate, when circumstances scream that it cannot be done, you are going to need faith to keep going. You are going to need faith to stay the course. You are going to need faith to believe when no one else believes. Some of you have been talking about what you are going to do for years. You have been planning, preparing, researching, discussing, dreaming, thinking, but you have not been doing anything. You have been all talk and no action, all preparation and no execution, all dreams and no hustle. You have got the prettiest vision board on the planet. You have got journals full of goals. You have notebooks full of ideas. You have got plans written out in detail, but your life looks the same. The life looks the same as it did 3 years ago. Nothing has changed because you have not done anything differently. Why? Because talking about it does not make it happen. Thinking about it does not make it happen. Writing 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 about it does not make it happen. Writing, only doing makes it happen. Action is the bridge between dreams and reality. Without action, your dreams are just fantasies. They are just nice thoughts that make you feel good. But do not change anything. You have got to move. You've got to take the first step, even if it is small, even if it is imperfect. Even if you are scared, move. Do something, anything. Stop waiting for the perfect moment because the perfect moment is right now. Stop waiting until you feel ready because you will never feel ready. Stop waiting for permission because nobody is going to give you permission to live your life. Get off the couch. Turn off the TV. Put down the phone and do something that moves you closer to where you want to be. Make that phone call. Send that email, register for that course, start that business, write that first page, take that first step. Just do something every single day. Ask yourself what you did today to rebuild your life. If you cannot answer that question, you wasted a day, and you do not have unlimited days to waste. Time is your most valuable resource, and once it is gone, you cannot get it back. So use it wisely, use it productively, use it to build the life you want. Information without application is just entertainment. You can read all the books, listen to all the podcasts, attend all the seminars, but if you do not apply what you learn, it is worthless. Knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. So take what you know and do something with it. Stop collecting information and start taking action. Let me tell you something that took me years to understand. Failure is not your enemy. Failure is your teacher. Failure is your friend. Failure is the education you need. Most people run from failure as if it was something to be ashamed of. But failure is one of the greatest gifts you can receive. Every successful person you admire has failed repeatedly. Publicly, they failed more times than you have probably even tried. But they did not let failure stop them. They let failure teach them. They learned from their mistakes. They adjusted their approach. They got better and they kept going. When you fail, you learn what does not work. When you fail, you get stronger. When you fail, you discover what you were really made of. When you fail, you develop resilience, persistence, and character. These are things you cannot learn from success. You can only learn them from success. You can only learn them from failure. The only real failure is not trying at all. The only real failure is giving up. The only real failure is giving up. Failure is letting fear of failure keep you from moving forward. If you try and fail, you have not lost, you have learned. If you try and fail, you are still further ahead than the person who never tried. So stop being so scared to mess up. Stop being so worried about what people will say if you fall. Let me tell you a secret. While you are worried about falling, somebody else is getting up and passing you by. While you are worried about falling, somebody else is getting up and passing you by. While you are playing it safe, somebody else is taking the risks that lead to greatness. While you are protecting your ego, somebody else is building their empire. Fall 7 times, get up 8. That is the formula. That is the winning equation. It is not about how many times you fall. It is about how many times you get back up. Every champion has been knocked down. Every success story includes chapters of failure. Every breakthrough comes after multiple breakdowns. Your setbacks are setting you up for your comeback, but only if you let them teach you instead of letting them stop you. Do not be afraid of failure. Be afraid of never trying. Be afraid of reaching the end of your life and wondering what would have happened if you had just taken the chance. Discipline and consistency are non-negotiable. You all want me to tell you the real secret to success. It is not talent. It is not luck. It is not who you know. It is not where you went to school. It is not what family you were born into. It is discipline. It is consistency. It is doing what you need to do, whether you feel like it or not, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. Motivation is cute, but motivation comes and goes. Motivation is that feeling you get after watching an inspiring video or reading an encouraging quote. It feels great in the moment, but by Tuesday afternoon, it is gone. Discipline stays. Discipline shows up when motivation goes on vacation. Discipline does not care how you feel. You think successful people wake up every day feeling inspired and motivated. Absolutely not. Some days they do not feel like getting up. Some days they do not feel like doing the work. Some days they want to quit just like everybody else, but they do it anyway because they are disciplined. They do it anyway because they are committed. They do it anyway because they know their feelings are not a reliable guide. Your feelings are not a reliable guide for your kites. If you only work when you feel like working, you will never build anything significant. Your emotions will have you quitting every other week. Your emotions will have you starting and stopping, never gaining momentum, never making real progress. You have got to be consistent. You have got to show up. You have got to put in the reps day in and day out.
Rain or shine, good days and
days. When you feel like it and when you do not, when it is easy and when it is hard, that is what consistency looks like. That is what discipline demands. Consistency compounds. Small actions repeated daily become massive results over time. It is not the big dramatic actions that change your life. It is the small, boring, repetitive actions done consistently over a long period of time. That is the secret nobody wants to hear because it is not exciting, but it is true. The most successful people are not necessarily the most talented. They are the most disciplined. They are the ones who kept going when everybody else quit. They are the ones who showed up every single day no matter what. Be that person, be disciplined, be consistent, and watch your life transform. You have been settling. Have you not? Settling in relationships, settling into your career, settling in life, taking crumbs when you deserve the whole meal, accepting less than you are worth because you do not know what you are worth. Or maybe you do know, but you do know, believe it. Why? Because somewhere along the line, somebody convinced you that you were not worth more. Somebody made you feel small. Somebody made you think you were lucky to get what you got. Somebody told you that you were not good enough, smart enough, talented enough, pretty enough, or worthy enough, and you believed them, and you believed them. Those were lies, all lies. And it is time you stop believing them. You need to know your worth. You need to understand your value. You need to recognize that you are one of a kind, irreplaceable, uniquely designed for a purpose, that there's no one else like you on this planet. There has never been and there never will be. That alone makes you valuable beyond measure. Stop letting people pay you in pennies when you are worth gold. Stop accepting disrespect because you are afraid of being alone. Stop staying in situations that are beneath you because you are scared of the unknown. Stop shrinking yourself so that other people feel comfortable. Stop dimming your light so that you do not outshine anybody. When you know your worth, you do not negotiate it. When you know your value, do not discount it. When you know who you are, you do not let anybody treat you like you are nobody. You set standards, you draw boundaries, you require respect, not because you are arrogant, but because you understand your inherent value. Part of rebuilding yourself is establishing your standards, drawing your lines, knowing what you will and will not accept, and sticking to it no matter what. No matter who is on the other side of that boundary, no matter what you might lose by enforcing it. Your self-respect is more important than any relationship, any job, any opportunity. You are valuable, you are worthy, you deserve good things. You deserve respect, you deserve love, you deserve success, you deserve happiness. Start believing it and start demanding it. Stop settling for less. Know your worth and add tax to it. Some of you are stuck because you are terrified of starting over. You have invested so much time, so much energy, so many years into something that is not working. And the thought of starting fresh feels like failure. It feels like a loss. It feels like you wasted all that time. Let me flip that script for you. Starting over is not failure. It is courage. Starting over is not losing. It is a choice. Starting over is not losing. It is a choice. Starting over means you are refusing to stay stuck in something that is not serving you. Starting over means you are brave enough to admit that something is not working and bold enough to do something about it. Yes, you might be starting from scratch, but you are not starting from zero knowledge. You are not starting from zero experience. You are not starting from zero wisdom. You have learned things. You have grown. You are wiser than you were before. You know what works and what does not work. You know what to avoid. You know what to look for. Starting over at 40 is better than staying miserable until 80. Starting over after a failed business is better than never starting a business at all. Starting over after a bad relationship is better than staying in that relationship and losing yourself. Starting over is not a step backward. It is a setup for something better. Sometimes you have to tear down the whole building to build something better. That is not a loss. That is renovation. That is reconstruction. That is rebuilding. You cannot add new floors to a building with a faulty foundation. Sometimes you have to knock it all down and start fresh. Do not let sunk costs keep you in prison. Do not let the years you have invested in the wrong thing stop you from investing in the right thing. Those years are gone, whether you stay or go, whether you stay or go. But the question is not what you have already invested. The question is what you are going to invest in going forward. Let it go. Start fresh, build new. Your comeback is going to be greater than your setback. But it requires you to be brave enough to begin again. It requires you to let go of pride and embrace you value your future more than your past. Do not fear starting over. Embrace it. Let me tell you something the internet will not tell you. There are no shortcuts. There is no get rich quick. There is no magic formula. There is no hack, no cheat code, no secret that the successful people are hiding from you. There's only work. That is it. That is the secret everybody is looking for. Hard work, consistent, smart work, relentless work day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. That is how success is built. Not through tricks or hacks or secrets, through work. Good old-fashioned roll up your sleeves, get your hands dirty work. Everybody wants the result, but nobody wants the process. Everybody wants the mansion, but nobody wants to lay the bricks. Everybody wants the $1 million, but nobody wants the 1,000,000 hours of grinding. Everybody wants the six-pack, but nobody wants the 6 months of discipline. You cannot have the result without the process. You have got to outwork your excuses. You have got to outwork your circumstances. You have got to outwork your competition. You have got to outwork your competition. You have got to outwork your own laziness and procrastination. When your competitors are sleeping, you need to be working. When your competitors are partying, you need to be working. When your competitors are making excuses, you need to be working. And I do not mean working yourself to death. I do not mean burning out. I do not mean sacrificing your health and relationships for success. I mean putting in real effort towards your goals, not half-hearted effort. Not when I feel like an effort, real dedicated, focused effort, working smart and working hard. They are not mutually exclusive. Success is not a gift, it is a reward. And it is given to those who earn it through their work ethic. Nobody's going to hand you success. Nobody's going to give you your dreams. You have to go out and get them. You have to work for them. You have to earn them. So stop looking for shortcuts. Stop trying to bypass the process. Embrace the grind, fall in love with the work, because the work is what transforms you into the person who can handle the success you are chasing. The work is not just about the outcome. The work is about who you become in the process. This right here is freedom. If you can understand this, you will be free. Stop waiting for people to validate you. Stop needing likes, comments, and approval. Stop living for applause. Stop living for applause. Stop checking to see who approved of your decisions. Stop waiting for permission to live your life. Most people will never understand your vision. Most people will never see what you see. Most people will think you are crazy for dreaming so big, and that is okay. You do not need everybody to believe in you. You do not need everybody to understand you. You do not need everybody to understand you. You do not need everybody to support you. You just need you to believe in you. Some of you are paralyzed because you are afraid of what people will think. You are afraid they will laugh. You are afraid they will judge. You are afraid they will talk. You are afraid they will criticize. And so you do nothing. You stay small. You play it safe. You hide your dreams and your gifts because you're afraid of being seen. Here is a news flash for you. They are going to talk anyway. They talk about people who try and people won. Do not. They talk about people who fail and people who succeed. They talk about people who play it safe and people who take risks. So let them talk. Their words have no power over you unless you give them power. Your opinion of yourself needs to be so strong, so solid, so unshakable that it does not matter what anybody else thinks. You need to be so rooted in who you are that other people's opinions bounce off you like water off a duck's back. You need to be so confident in your vision that criticism does not make you question it. When you stop seeking external validation, you find internal freedom. When you stop needing approval, you find power. When you stop caring about the critics, you can finally create without fear. You can finally move without hesitation. You can finally be yourself without apology. Be your own validator. Be your own encourager. Be your own biggest fan. Celebrate your own wins. Acknowledge your own progress. Because at the end of the day, you are the one who has to live with your choices. You are the one who has to look in the mirror. Make sure you can be proud of who is looking back at you. I know you want it now. I know you are in a hurry. I know you are looking around, seeing other people succeed and wondering when it is your turn. I know you have been working, waiting, and wondering if it will ever pay off. I know you are tired I know you are frustrated. I know you are ready. Let me tell you something, your time is coming, but it is not going to come before you are ready for it. There is a process to everything. Seeds do not become trees overnight. Babies do not become adults overnight, and your dreams do not materialize overnight either. There is a process and you have to trust it. Everything great requires time, requires seasons, requires waiting. The most valuable things in life take the longest to build. A great marriage takes years. A successful business takes years. A healthy body takes years. A meaningful life takes a lifetime. You cannot rush great, but here is the key. While you are waiting, you have got to be working. Patient does not mean passive. Patient means trusting the timeline while putting in the work. Patient means believing in the harvest while watering the soil. Patient means staying faithful in the process even when you do not see the progress. Do not compare your beginning to somebody else's middle. Do not compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. You do not know what they went through to get there. You do not know how many years they struggled in silence. You do not know how many times they failed before they succeeded. All you see is the highlight reel. Stay in your bowl lane. Run your own race. Trust your process. Your journey is unique to you. Your timeline is unique to you. Your power is unique to you. Stop looking at what everybody else is doing and focus on what you need to do. Comparison will steal your joy and delay your progress. And when doubt creeps in, because it will, remind yourself that everything you are going through is preparing you for where you are going. The delays are not denials. The obstacles are training grounds. The waiting is not wasted time. It is all part of the process. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with your progress. Your moment is coming. You have waited long enough. You have prepared long enough. You have talked about it long enough. You have thought about it long enough. You have researched long enough. You have planned long enough. At some point, you have got to stop preparing and start doing. That point is now. It is time to change. It is time to rebuild. It is time to become the person you were born to be. Every single thing I have said today means nothing if you walk out of here and do not do something with it. Do and not do something with it. Information without application is just entertainment. Do not let this be entertainment. Let this be the turning point. So what are you going to do? What is your first step? What are you going to change today? Not what are you going to think about? Not what are you going to consider? What are you going to do? What action are you going to take before you go to sleep tonight? Because here is the reality. Tom, tomorrow is not promised. Next week is not guaranteed. You do not have unlimited time to figure this out. The clock is ticking. Every second that passes is a second you will never get back. So stop acting as if you have forever. You do not. Your best life is waiting for you on the other side of your fear. Your destiny is waiting for you on the other side of your excuses. Your breakthrough is waiting for you on the other side of your comfort zone. Everything you want is on the other side of what you are afraid to do. Are you going to step up? Are you going to rise? Are you going to finally say that this is your time? I need you to look in the mirror tonight and tell yourself that you are done being average. Tell yourself that you are done settling. Tell you are done making excuses. Tell yourself that today is the day you start rebuilding. Say it until you believe it. Believe it until you become it. Become it until there's no going back. This is your moment. This is your season. This is your time. Now get out there and rebuild yourself.